Hey, what's up, universe? It's 1:47 p.m. on Friday, August 11th, 2023. So I'm back at the High V. So for the background noise, I'll just kind of apologize for that. It's just a quick update. So I've been applying for a couple more roles. Applied for one yesterday and a couple today, and just kind of feeling into things. And the two that I applied for today are interesting in the sense that they are support roles, which is, in a way, could be, to my mind, but they're not. It could be, though, feel like a step backwards in a way, right? So I used to do support for a really long time. It's actually what most of my professional career is around, and then moving into like solution architecture and some engineering and things like that. So when I felt into these roles, though, I checked in with myself on that, and I don't feel any resistance around that. And I was specific about who I applied for, and so I feel good about that too. So I've messaged the people. There weren't any at either one of these. There weren't like job posters that I could message directly. So I just messaged, like, one of them's like really small. It's a very small startup. There's like 13 people. So I just messaged the CTO directly, and I'm like, here you go. And that's after I submitted my application. Another one I actually have like a second degree connection with, right? Through, funny enough, in a way, the Zendesk developer user group that I led. So, we'll see what comes from that. And then the way that I kind of came across these, one of them, it was real interesting. I had a saved search for AI jobs, excuse me, on LinkedIn, and this was like, I don't know, the second or third job, like just on the left, and so I checked it out, and that's for the small firm where I just messaged the CTO directly. And then I was like, it's a small firm, like, they were talking about how much they'd raised in venture capital, which is and isn't a lot of cash. And so I was like, I'm curious about their financials, right? So I went to the SEC Edgar database to look up their 10K filings. And then I went to, there's another site called, what is it? Here we go. Let's see, growjoe.com, and you can search up companies based on industry, and it'll show you, I think, pretty much all the companies within that industry that it has in its database, but it's listed by like the first 100, right? And so I went through, companies in AI, and this one, well, it wasn't listed in necessarily the top 100, but I went through like the competitors, right? That's what I was originally looking for. I'm like, okay, who's a competitor of this company? And then I took a look at those, and there wasn't anything that I really found. What's interesting is that a lot of these AI jobs, like a lot of them are based in like San Francisco and California, and they require like hybrid work. And I just think it's a little funny. My personal take on that is that they're trying to keep people within California. No thanks. No thanks. I get it, I just think they're trying to keep people in California. So my work has to be remote, 100% remote. I just found that kind of funny, because it's not the first time I've run into that as I've been looking at employment. There's a lot of jobs that I found that are hybrid work, and they're in California. So anyway, that was a pretty interesting type of exploration. A lot of different companies out there. And like I say, I'm being picky because it's important to me to find people that I align myself with, because otherwise I'm just going to find myself in the same position that I was before. And I'm making it a very conscious effort to check in with how I feel about who I'm applying with, So let's see. Just trying to think here if there's really anything else to kind of update on. Not too much, I guess, other than like the other general state of the world stuff. Just crazy stuff going on in the world, for sure. But I guess that's another day in the life in a way. I guess the one thing I do want to say, so I spoke to my buddy. He called me, yesterday. To check in, the one that put me up in the room, and I know that he and his girl are concerned for me. I know my mom and my sisters, my family, I know they love me and they are concerned for me. I know that people close to me, some of them, I know they love me and I know they're concerned for me. And so I just let him know. I was on speakerphone, so I let them know, him and his girl. I was like, I'm deeply grateful for what you guys did for me. And, they had some suggestions on things, to, at least put cash in my pocket. And I get that. I totally get that. And I'm not above doing things. Like I said, I used to work at the Caribou. I've checked in with my cell phone about a pizza place around here. And trust me, pizza's sounding really, really good. So I'm not quote unquote above, anything. I'm just being very, very intentional. And that's the most important thing for me, is how does it feel? And I know that doesn't land well with people, a lot of people, and that's okay. Because for me, it's all about, this is a faith-based journey. I've been doing this for 24 years, and it's always put me where I need to be. There's a real magic in living my life this way. It doesn't look like some other people might want my life to look. It doesn't always look how I may want my life to look. It doesn't always feel super great, yet it feels worse to be out of alignment with myself. If you want to know the truth, it feels worse to be out of alignment with myself. And I know that. I know that because I've lived like that. I know what that's like. And some people, I'm sure, that watch this would be like, that's just crazy. Yeah, trust me, I know. Because I'm the one living it. For it to feel worse to be out of alignment than to live in my car versus having a bed to sleep in, yeah, it's worse. It's worse for me. That's just how it is. And it just comes down to agency and permission, and it goes into how I parent and how I see everybody. And I don't know what people's truth is, right? I don't know what your truth is. I don't know what your path is. I don't know what you are supposed to be doing. Only you know that. And that's the same for me too. Only I know my truth. Only I know my path. Only I know what's right for me. And that's how I parent. Only my kids know their truth. Only they know what's right for them. I'm there to guide them. I'm there to support them. I'm there to, do what I can. And then for me, it's more of a spiritual guidance, because I know a lot of people might say, well, yeah, you're to support them and to provide shelter and food and all of this kind of a thing. And what would it look like if Angela weren't in the picture? Yeah, I mean, this is a whole thing. And I'm not convinced I would live any differently. If you want to know the truth, my kids would just have a completely different experience. So, and again, I know that probably alienates some people. But again, for me, it's a spiritual thing, because it really comes down to personal sovereignty. I just don't know what people's truth is. And for me to impose my will upon somebody just because I think it's quote unquote right, I find very offensive. I just find it offensive. I don't think that is, that's totally not in alignment with me. It's just not. Because I just don't know. I might have ideas. I might have feelings about things. I might desire things for people. That's all valid. I'm not dismissing or discounting that at all. But it is absolutely not my place to, condemn anybody, judge anybody, shame anybody, guilt anybody, any of that kind of thing, to kind of like, I don't know, to me that's not supportive, right? That energy is not supportive. So that's what I mean by support. Like, people are going to make their choices and they're going to learn from them. That's, to me, what life is ultimately about. It's one giant school. We're all here to live and learn, and that, you know, that's my opinion. That's the way I see it. That's the way I would live my life, and that's more or less. I feel like I probably finessed it better when I spoke with him yesterday. That was true. I did feel that I probably did finesse it better. But that's the gist of it, really. And he was like, "Thank you." He's like, "That's a lot to take in," and I know when I speak these things that it really does run up against what is traditional and what people want from me, or what they probably view as right, and that's kind of the thing. I think that's where it's part of where I take issue. You know, in my mind, I don't know what's right and wrong for you. How am I supposed to know that? I don't know that. I really just don't know that. And I have had enough experiences, because it goes back to that whole Alan Watts thing, as far as not knowing the real outcome of what appears to be good and what appears to be bad, right? The whole that whole story of the Chinese farmer and his son. Is it good or bad? Maybe. You know what I mean? Like how I ran into Alan going and working at Caribou. I mean, it was that whole story. Like when I was unemployed for a while, living under the grace of somebody, you know, who allowed me to stay at their place, and I felt compelled to come here to Hy-Vee and apply for a job. And as soon as I got to Hy-Vee, knowing that Hy-Vee wasn't going to pay me what I needed to quote-unquote be paid, right? But it's just what I felt. That's where I was being led to go. And as soon as I got to Hy-Vee, I was like, you know what? Instead of actually working for Hy-Vee, I need to go check and see if Caribou has a job. I went to Caribou, spoke to Megan. Megan happened to be working. Megan's the manager of the Caribou. And I was like, hey, do you have a job? She's like, yes. You know? And so, like, it just unfolded, right? It naturally unfolded. And then here I am, again, a couple years later. Didn't make an intention to say anything to Alan. Alan happens to come up here, sit adjacent from me. We see each other, we talk. He happens to ask if I need a place to stay or if I'm homeless. Like, you know, there's too much synchronicity, right? Like, so for me, this is a whole thing of faith. The whole point of faith is not knowing. The whole point of faith is not knowing. And I trust that. I surrender to that, and I know. Then that's what I mean, like about what's right for me and what's right for anybody. I don't know. I don't know what God has planned for you. I don't know what the universe has planned for you, and I find it to be a bit arrogant in a way if I were to believe that I did. So I choose not to, because I don't. And so that's how I live my life, and that's the permission and freedom I give to others. And I understand that may not resonate with some people, yet I will absolutely tell you that I'm able to bring that into every single relationship that I have, and that's how I have the relationships I have with everybody else in the world, and why people respond to me the way that they do. There's a certain disarming that brings, you know, because there is no expectation from me. Like, I don't know, you know, and so people are able to relax into their authentic self and open up to me, and I'm telling you that really attracts amazing opportunities, completely magical ones, and that to me is life. That's a beautiful experience, and I'm absolutely grateful for that. So that's what I have, more or less. That's my update. And so that's what I was just meaning to tell my friend. I'm like, look, I don't operate this way to be offensive. It's not to be dismissive. It's not to be ungrateful. It's not. It's not coming from a place of ego. It's not coming from a place of, anger or rebellion. It's not. It's not. It's just a way that I've chosen to live because of how it feels inside of me, and for me, the proof is in the pudding. That's all I'm saying. For me and my path, choosing to live this way that's the right way for me. I don't know what else to say. It doesn't make sense. I can't explain to you the why. I can't. And I don't believe that I'm meant to. I mean, I can speculate, but I don't believe I'm meant to truly know. And to me, that's all part of the faith. I've run into so many things that I have really tried to understand the why and tried to get clarity on things, and it has always come back to surrender and trust and faith, and to learn to be okay not knowing. That's been getting comfortable with that and really just relaxing into that trust and surrender. That's been work, man. Yet every time, and there's been just countless times, it unfolds the way it's supposed to unfold, and it works out. It always works out. And that's what has taught me to be okay, trusting and surrendering. That has what has been nurtured my faith, and that's why I'm so steadfast in it. It's really the only reason I kind of have any type of real boundary around it, is because it's like, look, I know it may alienate people. That's not my intention. It's not. It's just that this is what's true for me. It is what's true for me. So I can't explain it. It's not meant to be antagonistic, dismissive, or anything, divisive. It's not meant to be divisive. It can be, though. I just know how it's shown up in other relationships, and I don't mean for it to be that way. It's not meant to come from that place. I think my energy before, where it has been really divisive and antagonistic and aggressive, is from a place of feeling that I needed to defend myself. And when I have felt defensive, I know for a fact, having gone to counseling around this, I call it feral energy, where it just very, very reactive, very aggressive, and very defensive. So I have had that energy before around this, and I've just learned to let that go. I don't need to defend myself. I don't need to justify myself. I do my best to explain what I can and trust that I'm in the same boat as a lot of you that may be watching this, where might be scratching your head and be like, this makes zero sense. I'll be like, yep, you're right. I get it. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that I just know what's right for me is about the best I can say. And through learning my lessons that way, I've learned that I just simply do not know what's right for anybody else. I really don't. I wish the best for everybody. I really don't know what people's path is supposed to be. So, and I've learned a lot from that, and I'm telling you, that really opens things up for me. It allows for really, really interesting relationships, and it's a real pleasure to be able to have people feel. It creates safety, if you want to know the truth. It creates safety, and for other people, for them to be themselves. And when people feel safe, and that type of resonance, and that type of frequency, there's a lot of opportunity. Infinite opportunity. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I have been chatting for a little bit. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for giving me some time and space. Thanks for enduring this louder environment. And I will keep you all posted on what's going on. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later.